Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So in this meal prep, I have 3 brand new recipes to try out, all of which we have actually already tried. So I'm just gonna let you guys know right here in this video whether we like them or not. So that way you don't even have to wait for a how did it taste video. So 3 of these recipes are dump and go recipes pretty much because, like I said, I worked on Saturday 12-hour shifts and I wanted to make my life easy. So we're doing lots of crock pot recipes this week. But this video is intended to give you inspiration and motivation to get your meal prep game on. It saves time, it saves money, and it saves you from making bad food choices. So just remember, all of these recipe links will be in the description box below, but let's get in the kitchen and start cooking. All right, so starting out this week, we are going to start out with some chorizo and eggs. And if y'all have not had chorizo and eggs, this is about the best breakfast you're ever gonna get. So I just cooked up the chorizo. You cook that up just like you would hamburger meat, and then I threw in there around 8 eggs with a little bit of salt. It really doesn't take a ton of salt. And then I did throw in there a little bit of pepper, even though some chorizo is a little spicy, so you may not want to add too much pepper. And then just stir the eggs right in there with the chorizo and cook it up until all of your eggs are fully cooked, and you have a delicious protein-packed breakfast. This is our family favorite right here. Then next up, I am going to cook up some bacon. This bacon I got at Sprouts on sale for only $2.99 a pound. This bacon was thick sliced and it was delicious. I just throw it right on a cookie sheet that I lined with aluminum foil, and look how thick that bacon is. Look at all that fat. And I bake mine at 400 degrees and just cook it for, everybody likes their bacon to a certain crispiness. I feel like that's just personal preference, but that is how we like our bacon. And look at all that delicious bacon grease. Look at all that fat on there. These pieces of bacon were so thick and so good. Next up is one of the brand new recipes. We're going to be making Zesty Queso keto chicken soup, and this is all the ingredients that you're going to need. And I'm just going to tell you right now, because we already tried it, it was so good. And then you add a dollop of daisy and some shredded cheese to that, and it was delicious. So the first thing I'm going to add, and this was kind of a smaller crock pot, so I mean, all the stuff barely fit. I added 2 large boneless, skinless chicken breasts. And then I told you guys I was tired this weekend, so I cheated. I used the taco seasoning. That's probably not the healthiest. It's better to make your own. I did use 28 ounces of diced tomatoes, which took about 2.5 of those Rotel cans. Added a little bit of salt, as well as 2 cups of chicken broth. This soup here is what we've been taking for lunch, and I'm telling you, it is so good. Then I added the salsa verde, as well as 8 ounces of cream cheese. And I just cut the cream cheese up so that way it melted a little bit better in the crock pot. And then that's literally all it took. So simple. Throw that puppy on low. Let that cook on low for 6 hours, and that is the result that you get. Again, that was really good. It was a very good Mexican soup, and we'll probably definitely make this again in our house. Everybody enjoyed it. Next up is Mississippi pot roast. This is about as easy as you're gonna get right here, y'all. If you're looking for a simple, easy meal that you can throw in a crock pot in the morning, those are the ingredients that you're gonna need. I just threw the chuck roast right there into the crock pot, and then I put a packet of ranch dressing. Again, I know that's terrible. It's better to make your own, but this mama was tired. Then I threw in a packet of au jus gravy mix. Thank you to everybody who taught me how to say that because I butchered it big time. 1/4 cup of butter, and then around 4 to 5 pepperoncinis. Really, that part you could just put in as many as you want. And I do throw a little bit of the pepperoncini juice in there because it's delicious. And I'm telling you, while this thing is cooking, it will smell up your house and it's gonna smell so good. I just put that on low and I let that cook for 8 hours. And look how beautiful that chuck roast is. I just shredded it up and it's an easy, delicious meal. Then next up, we're going to be making slow cooker Greek style green beans and chicken thighs. So in the crock pot already was a half of an onion diced up. I did throw in a pack of green beans. That was frozen green beans. Now I'm just throwing in some minced garlic. And then it says you can use fresh tomatoes or canned. I just chose to use one of those cans of Rotel. And then I did add some dill. It says to use fresh dill, but I used the dry. And then we are going to use the juice of an entire lemon. And that's actually a lime squeezer. So I was trying to fit the lemon into the lime squeezer. And then we're going to use 1 cup of chicken broth or stock or bone broth, whatever you have. And then in that was just a little bit more of the Rotel tomatoes. I did add some salt in there and some pepper. And then I just stirred that up so that way all the flavors can kind of combine together. And then on the top of that, we are just going to add our chicken thighs. And then we're going to add a little bit of avocado oil to the top of those chicken thighs. And add a little bit more pepper as well as a little bit more salt, just so that way it definitely has enough seasoning. I am definitely not afraid to season my food. Gonna put the lid on there. We're gonna cook that on low for around 8 hours. And look how gorgeous that is. So this recipe here, I think I'm the only one that's actually tried this one. And in my own opinion, this was really good. It's definitely not my favorite recipe that I've made, but it is very good. Next up, I am cutting up some vegetables because we are going to be making easy cheesy zucchini gratin. So I'm just cutting up the vegetables, zucchini and some onions. And I did spray that pan. It is an 8 by 8 inch pan. And I'm just throwing a third of the zucchini because I'm going to cut up 3 zucchinis and putting that at the bottom of the pan. And then I'm throwing in the onions. Then I didn't follow directions because we were supposed to put salt and pepper and the cheese in between the layers. And we were supposed to do 3 layers, but that's okay. I suffer at the end, you'll see. So after I did all my layers without the cheese, I just took that Monterey Jack cheese and I threw it in a bowl. I threw an entire packet of Monterey Jack cheese, as well as some xanthan gum. So it was 1/4 teaspoon of xanthan gum. And then we're just going to do salt and pepper to taste. And just as a little note, I did end up adding extra heavy whipping cream and butter. I did throw in there about 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. I actually just sprinkled some in. And then it calls for 1/2 cup of heavy whipping cream. Again, I probably ended up adding closer to 3/4 cup. And then also it does call for 2 tablespoons of butter, but I think I pretty much doubled that as well because it just wasn't enough in my own opinion. And then I just stirred all of that up. And then once I stirred that up, I poured it over the top of the zucchini and the onions. But this is why I really should have layered the cheese with it, because then I got stuck having to try to stir the zucchini and the cheese and all that good stuff together. And it like I said, in my opinion, it was just a little bit too dry. So I didn't show this part, but I did end up adding a little bit more heavy whipping cream and butter. And then I did preheat my oven to 375 degrees, and you were supposed to bake this for 45 minutes, even though mine took more like 55 minutes. This was good. However, I have a recipe book that I like their recipe for zucchini au gratin better. I'll leave a picture of it right here. This just needs more seasonings, in my opinion. But just to give you guys a heads up, in that cookbook, that's the only thing I've tried in that entire cookbook. Terrible. I know. I have cookbooks and I rarely use them. Next up, I am going to be making 12 of these Angus beef patties, hamburgers, and then the rest of those chicken thighs. And I'm just going to grill them all up on the grill. And I am just going to keep my seasoning simple. I'm just going to use some garlic salt on the burgers, and I'm also going to just use garlic salt on the chicken thighs as well. And right now in Arizona, the weather is perfect grilling weather. How is your weather where you're living? Because I am loving it right now. I did cook up one chicken breast as well because I had one chicken breast left over from one of those meals as well. But I'm telling you, there's times I could literally just take a burger out of the fridge, throw a slice of cheese on there, and eat that for my meal. So good. Same thing with the chicken. Perfect for salads. My kids love chicken, and believe it or not, they actually love chicken breasts. I'm a thigh girl. All right, so that is the end of this week's meal prep. We may not have had a dessert this week, but I still hope that you guys enjoy the recipes that I did pick out. And who doesn't love a good dump and go recipe? I mean, it's simple. You can throw it in the crock pot, and by the time you get home, it is done. Again, all those recipe links will be in the description box below, but for now I think that's all I have for you guys. If you guys could do me a favor and smash that like button, that really helps my videos get out there in the YouTube world. And also, if you're not yet subscribed, go ahead and smash that button as well, because I would love to have you as part of the Simply Misty family. And if you subscribe, don't forget to tap that bell so you can get notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate every single one of you guys, and don't forget to go out there and make today even better than yesterday. And I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye!
On my own, but I don't know why you hit the road, but you don't realize I'm on the back when you're around.